Medal of Honor Rising Sun was like the sequel to Medal of Honor Frontline that I covered last week, and it came out in November 2003, so it was pretty much like a year turnaround before this one came out. And again, I absolutely love the opening level of this game. I think it's phenomenal. While Frontline was a sort of borrowed from Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan, Rising Sun, the opening level, was borrowed straight from Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor movie, because you start the game off at Pearl Harbor and it is manic. It is really good though, and you get a good sense of claustrophobia and just craziness as what it would have been like to be stuck inside essentially a metal tin in the middle of the sea while you're attacked by everything. Now, in terms of gameplay, it didn't change too much from the formula, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it was still pretty fun, it was still good. They tweaked a little things, like a few of the physics engines a little bit changed. The controls are much better this time around, so much better, and the guns just feel a little bit more punchy. But what they did add into this game, and unfortunately I didn't have anyone to show this off with, but they added split screen and multiplayer and split screen co-op, which is really good. But even though this game only came out a year after Frontline, critics absolutely panned this game, and I kind of see why, because it does feel really soulless. Even though this game's got probably more story in it than Frontline does, it just seemed just a bit bad. Like, it was just not like this game actually has cutscenes in it, and it actually has like a storyline, and it just is nothing compared to Frontline, which is really weird, because it's almost like comparing Pearl Harbor by Michael Bay and Saving Private Ryan by Spielberg. They are two war films that are completely different. The only good bit about the Rising Sun game is the capture footage that I'm showing you at the moment is the opening levels. The opening two levels are really good. The first one where you're getting out of the boat, the second one you're just on a turret for ages. So as you come out of here, you actually get to see like everything that's going on in Pearl Harbor, and it was wild. I remember this actually probably like shaking me a little bit as a kid. Like, seeing this, I was like, what is going on? Chaos, pure chaos. And then it was just turret sections for like the next level and a half, which was a little bit boring. But yeah, it was definitely something. And looking at the general consensus of the reviews now, like, a lot of people have the same sort of feeling as me, where the opening levels in Pearl Harbor were really good, and after that the game sort of bitters out a little bit and is a bit subpar, which is, yeah, pretty much true. Now, what is interesting and is a little bit different to the rest of the Medal of Honor franchise is this game was actually supposed to have a sequel, like a direct sequel. You took on the role of the main character's brother, but it got cancelled because EA were expecting this game to be like an absolute blockbuster hit. They thought this was going to be massive, and it just wasn't. So they cancelled it, even though it only got like mixed average reviews. They still cancelled the sequel because they just didn't have any trust in it anymore, which is just like a bit strange. Like, I feel like as well, it's not the worst game ever. I think they just were expecting it to be so much more, but it did sell quite a lot. Like, it sold a lot of copies. So some statistics that I found about what it sold. On the PlayStation 2, it went double platinum and was awarded that status, so you could get it in a double platinum box. And just so you know, this is some of the cutscene stuff that I was talking about. It sold 600,000 copies in the United Kingdom and was given a gold certificate, and 100,000 units across Germany, Switzerland and Austria. So it wasn't unsuccessful, it just wasn't something that EA wanted to pursue, which sounds really weird because, like, why not? That's still a fan base. But I just wanted to talk about this game because even despite everything I've talked about today, that it being an average game and not the greatest and whatnot, I still really enjoyed this game, and that's what kind of matters really, because that's why I want to talk about it. Just the nostalgia trip I get of this game. I think it's really fun. Like, I think it's silly, it's dumb, and it's just like it's what shooters. I think this was the last of the sort of like arcade-ish shooters. I think after this game, like, our games just got a lot more serious, So this game came out in 2003, so it would have been like just a few years before sort of the Call of Duties started to come out again, because I think the first Call of Duty game that I played was the Call of Duty 2 on the PlayStation, on the PC, and then the big Call of Duty Big Red one. That was also really good on the Xbox. That's when the shooter games. Oh, I remember the one game that absolutely killed World War II games from being like arcadey and turning them super serious and super real for me with the Brothers in Arms games. I'm going to try and do a separate video on them because they were something else. They were so good. They had the story, had everything. But anyway, back to this one. I think like this game is still a lot better than people remember it. I just think it was disappointing when you had the prequel, like the previous game, Medal on the Frontline, being so good, and then coming to this, it was a little subpar and a little bit of a letdown. So I think a lot of people reviewed it badly because of that. But yeah, that's my sort of like thoughts, feelings, and just random nonsense that I like to talk about in these videos about Medal of Honor Rising Sun, first person shooter from the early 2000s. Let me know if you ever played this game or what you think of it. If you agree with me, did you think it was like an underrated gem, or do you think it's still a terrible game? I'll happily discuss this with anyone because I really like it. So let me know in the comments what you think of this game. And if you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.